Thanks, guys. We're thrilled to be here with you. I'm Brad. I'm the CEO of Bills.com. John's our head of product and the real brains behind the operation up here on stage. We're thrilled for a couple reasons. One, to be with you guys, great audience. There's some great companies presenting. We're also thrilled. After about 2 years of working on this, we got it live on our website last night before midnight. So with a couple hours to spare, we're live for Finovate. John, why don't you dive in, and I'll sort of give you guys the background, the premise of what we're trying to achieve here with Debt Coach. And it's that credit card debt and unsecured debt's a really big problem in America. So there's about $800 billion of consumer debt outstanding. $50 billion of that charges off every year. Pretty big numbers. When you personalize it to the individual family, there's about $14,000 of credit card debt for families that carry debt. It becomes a really big, most pressing problem in their lives. And they don't really understand how to deal with these problems. So things like credit counseling, debt settlement, avalanche, snowball, debt consolidation loans. It's a confusing ball of wax for them, and we wanted to bring transparency and information and empower those consumers to make choices. So John's launched his application here. As you can see, it's simple, really clean UI that makes what can be an emotional and challenging process for a consumer really easy for them to digest. The first couple of the pages are self-stating their income, their assets, what they owe, if they own a home, what their goals are. And you can see as quickly as page 2 here, they're getting feedback from national averages on their debt assessment on stress, debt, cash flow, and what their kind of needs are. This page forces a consumer for the first time ever to prioritize what their preferences and goals are on things like time to debt freedom, monthly payment. These are mutually exclusive things really frequently to help us power the decision engine to then sort for them and prioritize for them credit counseling, debt resolution, debt consolidation loans. In this case, John's got about $30,000 of credit card debt. He's struggling with his monthly payments. He wants a low impact to his credit score, and he doesn't want to put his home at risk, but he'd still like to save a bunch of money. So a really cool thing here is we partnered with our friends at Experian, where we enable consumers for free, no impact on their credit, to pull their credit report directly from Experian and auto-populate who they owe, what their interest rates are, what their monthly payments are if they're in their Experian trade lines. So very quickly and easily, they can self-state their goals, force rank their preferences, pull accurate and precise information from Experian, exactly who they owe and what their debt situation is. Experian forces some challenge questions, make sure that you are who you are, and then the tool will present to the consumer all of their debts, line by line. Now that's important as we're going to move forward here, is Debt Coach, for the first time ever, brings transparency to the individual solutions, not at some pie-in-the-sky, high level, oh, you could save half of what you owe or reduce your payment a little bit. It's going to show creditor by creditor, for the first time ever, publicly to the consumer, concession rates from creditors and DMPs, settlement rates from a debt settlement program, and actual rates and terms from a mortgage partners of if they qualify. So the decision engine's running right now. It's looking at their individual creditors, what their preferences were and what their self-stated goals are. So here you see in John's situation, Debt Coach ran the algorithm, compares and shows fully transparently to him all of his options from what he's paying today currently, what credit counseling looks like for him, what debt settlement looks like for him, what an avalanche or self-managed program looks like for him, and what he could achieve if he qualifies for a refinance debt consolidation loan. At the top, there's some information. It explains why credit counseling was a match for him, and then he can look at all of his solutions in a really easy to digest, clear way. But this is sort of the real tip of the iceberg because it's still high-level stuff. Now we allow it to personalize to the consumer with education, information, videos, tools, advice, and this is actually personalized for that individual consumer, their creditors, their specific situation, what their concession rates are going to be in a credit counseling program with interest rates. Click that, John. You see their actual creditors. This has never been done before. Transparently to the consumer what their benefits are of credit counseling. We do the same with total cost, do the same with monthly payment. So the consumer's getting educated, they're getting empowered, they understand their options. Up at the top there's a video on each one of the solutions that plays to sort of show them, here's all your options, here's the pros and cons, and no longer are you walking onto a used car auto dealership and you don't know what the cars are worth. You're walking onto the dealership with the Kelley Blue Book value, and you know every single car, what the value is. This is exactly what we're doing with debt solutions for the first time ever. So they get educated, empowered, and then they can compare their options here. So credit counseling was a suggested fit for him because it protects his credit score, but still gets him a low monthly payment that saves him a bunch of money. But you can compare the same on debt resolution. This is based on proprietary data we're able to build over several years that compares their individual creditors, what the savings are. In this case, you can see creditor by creditor, based on billions of dollars of settlements and DMPs and concession rates, what all these benefits are to that consumer. So that's debt settlement, that's credit counseling. You can look at the optimized payment, an avalanche or a snowball, where you roll all your cards up if you've got free cash flow and you've got the ability to pay those down on your own. Very cool, shows the timeline of when individual cards will be paid off, so that the consumer gets this information powered by a really powerful decision engine on the back end that will recommend to them what the best fit is for their needs. And also cash out refi is important too. From an acquisition we did, a very cool company that presented here 2 years ago called Home Account, where it actually brings real rates, real transparency on the mortgage side to the consumer. So the first time ever, that consumer can compare all of these options normalized and sorted side by side. And then current payments is typically the first time a consumer sees the lifetime cost of what they're doing today and just making those minimum payments. And usually it's a pretty big shock to the system of, wow, this is going to take me 25 years and cost me 3 or 4 times what I owe today to keep on this plan. Let's look at my alternatives and then see what my options are. John, if you want to click on credit counseling quick. We also match people. If they choose to select, they can apply for a pre-screened provider for that individual solution. So it's a really powerful tool that educates, informs, brings pure transparency to the consumer across all of their primary debt solutions for free to the consumer in a way that has never been done before with the data, the decision engine, and a really simple, clean UI that's easy for them to digest. So ecstatic to show this to you guys. Anybody that want to see the less than 7-minute training wheel off full demo, come see us. And thanks to my team for working hard. You guys rock. Debt Coach rocks. Thanks, you guys.